I'm sorry, let me back up. We are now working on Unit 3, Lesson 15, which is keyboard input. So this is basically going to teach us how to make code so that when I do certain things on the keyboard, things change in the program. So we're going to use conditional statements for this. Okay, so see if you can predict how the key down block works. You will not write any code. Do this. Read the program carefully, make a prediction about what will happen when you press the space bar, and write it in the box below. Be specific. While the program is running, press the space bar on your keyboard. Were you correct? Were you surprised? All right, so let's take a look at the code first. Inside my draw loop, I have text, size, text, key down, space, 200, 200. Okay. What do we think will happen when I press the space bar? Anybody? Something might move, something will change. Okay. Specifically, what do you think is going to change? Where do we see the keyboard? What is that key down thing inside of? Text. So something with the text is going to change. Okay, cool. So let's see if we're right. So so my prediction is something about the text will change when I hit the space bar. I have no idea if I'm correct or not, but it's okay because it is just a prediction. So I'm going to go ahead and hit, I always like to turn on my grid. I'm gonna go ahead and hit run. And when I hit the space bar, it turns to true. Holy moly, look at that. How fun. All right, so obviously this is a keyboard input. So there is changes that can happen when we code this and say when we are gonna hit certain keys, certain things happen. All right, so once you are finished with bubble number 1, go ahead and hit finish. Can somebody please get the door? All right, changing sprites. Let me make my space bigger. All right. This program uses key down block to detect whether a specific key is being pressed down. Do this, run the code, and press H and P keys. Look inside the if statement to see how the code works. Add a block inside the third if statement to change the animation to a different animal. All right, so again, I like to put on my grid just because, and if I hit run, and it told me to hit the P, and what was the H? So H looks like a hippo, and P looks like a piggy, and it's kind of cute. Oh, look at that, they're changing. Kind of like you. Anyways, so now we want to do a different one for R. So I'm not sure what R is going to be. So when I want to make a conditional statement, if the R key is down, then it wants me to change the animation. So I'm going to go into my sprite board. I'm going to say set the animation to, and let's see what I have available. I have, rabbit. There we go. That makes sense. So an R for rabbit. So I'm going to go ahead and hit reset, and I'm going to run it. So I start with a giraffe. If I hit P, I get a pig. If I hit what was the other one? H, I get a hippo. And if I hit R, I now get a rabbit. Okay? This is a conditional statement with a keyboard input. The conditional statement is the if statement. It is inside the draw loop, meaning that it's always happening. So if I hit at any point another P or another H, it is always going to change depending on which key I hit. Keyboard input inside of a conditional statement. The conditional statement is that if bracket. If this happens, then whatever is inside the conditional statement is going to occur. Okay? All right. Questions? Cool. Moving forward. All right, bubble 3, moving sprite. So this is teaching us how to use a conditional statement and a keyboard input to actually move sprites around. You can change your sprite's position using based on key presses in the same way that you change the animation. Add an if statement inside of your draw loop. Check whether the right arrow key has been pressed down. Add code inside the conditional to move the sprite to the right if my right arrow is down. Okay, cool. So that kind of tells me what to do, and that's cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my instructions. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my control section, and I'm going to pull in my if statement. Okay? So if something is true. So now I'm going to go, I think it's the world drawer. Yes. If key down, and the key that I want to put down is the right arrow. Okay, so if I'm pressing the right arrow on the keyboard, then what's going to happen? Actually, let me start over 1 second. I just want to see what this looks like. Okay, so it's a ladybug that does nothing. That's cool. All right, so I want to get the ladybug to move to the right is what we're doing. All right, so if, just what I did before, go into the world. If I press down, key down, the right arrow, then what is it going to happen? Then the X position of my sprite, and I'm going to have to change, oops, nope, did not mean to do that. I dragged one too many in. I need to change the name of the sprite to bug because that's what the sprite's called. And then what's going to happen? Okay, well, I want it to move to the right, and we know that right is positive for the X position. So my bug's X position, do we want this to move fast or slow?
Slow.
Slow. Okay, so we'll just make it +1. Okay, here is the cool thing, guys. Whatever color the boxes are, that's the color drawer it is in the tools. So like if you see me with a yellow box that I pull down for the key down, that's in the world box because that's a yellow box. Does that make sense? So like the +1, that's a math box, it's orange. The pink boxes are the sprites. Everything that you see on my screen has the same color. It came out of that same color box or toolbox. Okay? And let's go ahead and reset run this. And let's see if I push the right. Okay, so he's not moving. What is the problem, guys? Find me the bug.
Mine's moving.
Mine's not.
Oh, you gotta put bug where it says sprite.
There it is. If I'm on line 11, I did not change the name of my bug. So I need to turn this into bug. So not writing bug was the bug in the program. See what I did there? All right, so if I press down the right arrow, he now moves, or she now moves to the right. I just put a 1. You could literally put any number you want. Oops. All right, so let me make this bigger so everybody can see my actual code in case you're having a hard time seeing it. And I'm actually going to put this back where it was because I accidentally moved that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so what we have inside the draw loop, from the blue box, an if or a conditional statement. From the yellow box, if key down, so when I push the key down and I chose right, so I wanted the right arrow to make him go right. And then I said from the purple box, I created a variable, right? So like the one that just says something equals something else. The bug's X position, when I push this down, is going to be equal to the bug's X position +1. So every time you press the right arrow key down, you should advance forward. So hopefully that worked for everybody.
So hard, bro.
All right, go ahead and hit finish on that. All right, so it says let's make the gears spin only when the space key is being held down. Okay, do this. Add code that checks whether the space key is being pressed down. Move the code that makes the gears rotate so they only rotate when the key is being pressed down. All right, I can do that. So I'm gonna get rid of my instructions because now I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna hit run so I can see how, okay, so the gears are already moving. I just need to make them only move when I am pressing the space key. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I'm gonna pull in a conditional statement. Oops, background needs to go on top of that, my bad. Huh? I pulled it into line 12. All right, so the first thing I do, if the space bar, so I'm gonna go into my world, if the key down, if, and then instead of up, I'm gonna choose space. So if my space bar is pressed down, then I want all of this stuff to move. So all I'm gonna do is grab all of these rotations and drag them into the conditional. Because we know they're already moving, I just only want them to move if I press the space bar.
Wait.
Do you want me to do it again?
Yes.
Okay, give me a minute. Let me reset. I'm just gonna reset it. It's okay. It's fine. All right. So when I run the program normally, the gears are already moving, right? I only want the gears to move if I press down the space bar. So I already know everything's working. So that's good. So inside the draw loop, I'm going to drop in a conditional. I'm going to give it the condition. I'm going to say, I only want this to work if key down is the space bar. So if I press the space bar, whatever's inside this if conditional loop is going to run. And what I want to have happen is these gears are going to move. I know the gears are already moving inside of this program. So all I'm going to do is pick up these blocks and drag them inside the conditional loop. That's all I'm going to do because I already know they work. I mean, like, why recode it if I don't have to, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and hit run. And now they're not moving, but if I hit my space bar, there they go. That is a conditional statement. If a condition is true, then the code inside that conditional statement runs. But if I take my finger off the space bar, the condition is no longer true, so it doesn't work. Questions?
No.
Anybody need help?
No.
Okay. It's not easier. Actually, this is more complicated code. You're just paying attention. No, I'm not being funny. I'm saying, like, it's all pretty easy if you pay attention. You are smart enough to learn how to do anything if you're paying attention. That's my only point. All right, so bubble 5 is on your own, ladies and gentlemen. A, B, and C, please make sure that you work them out properly. Number 6, I forget what the heck we're doing here. Okay, so you need to make a conditional statement to make your little wing bot move in every direction. So you're going to be able to make, you want to be able to make the little, let me just run the program. You want this little wing bot to be able to move up, down, left, and right. Okay, so that's your 6. And then as always, 7 is optional. So if you choose to do 7, great. If you choose not to do 7, that's cool too. It is optional. It is just like additional challenges. Okay, so you have the time. Please work on it.